Didn't I tell you we were going to the Whisky Festival? So what are you waiting for? Come on, let's go. Hello, whisky lovers. So, not in the March Whisky Basement now. We are here at the festival, Whisky Festival in Ghent. It's 2 days, so Saturday and Sunday. And you can see there's a lot of people here who will be enjoying many of the whiskeys. Yes, well, as you have obviously noted, something was very wrong with my microphone. So I have no other choice but to resort back to some off-camera voice-over commentary for this Whisky Rambling. But, you know, it's not really a problem now, is it? I can walk you through it. So as you can see, there were a lot of people there, and obviously when you want to get your palate started for whiskey, one of the best ways to go about that is to visit Ghent and get one of those lowlanders to get the palate ready for some other whiskies, like these Japanese ones, for example. I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the Hakushu bourbon barrel. But there were a lot of booths there, so hundreds of bottles to taste. For example, here there were some very old and very exclusive bottles that you could have a dram of. As you can see, they were labelled, and that is the price you had to pay for a 2 centiliter dram. Now, most of the drams that were offered were payable like 1, 2 euros, maybe 3, sometimes a bit more, the more expensive expressions, for example. But overall, it was very doable. Books, of course, there's books at the festival as well, including my favorite one at the moment, Dave Broom's World Whisky Atlas, which is a very comprehensive book indeed. Gold Lees, yes, Gold Lees, you see it there in the center of the image. Gold Lees is a Belgian whiskey, but I must say it's not quite there yet. But anyway, lots to taste, of course, and you had to pay with these, so that's not monopoly money, it's not toy money, those are the drams you had to get to pay for your whiskies. Of course, Diageo is a huge drinks concern, so obviously they had the biggest booth of all, and you can see a lot of people are getting in line there to taste the dram. But there was also some whiskey from Switzerland, Whiskey Castle. Now, I must say, it was a bit of a surprise, albeit not a very pleasant one. So the Swiss whiskey is not really my cup of tea. On the other hand, I was very pleasantly surprised by some of the distillers' editions. For example, this one, Dalwhinnie Distillers Edition, was a very pleasant surprise indeed. Now, not only whiskey could be tasted, of course, there was also an alternative. There were some gins, some liqueurs, and there was even a cocktail bar where some barmen were preparing cocktails, obviously based on whiskey. And one of these that we tried was the Kalila Sazerac, which was Kalila, obviously, with some absinthe, sugar, soda water, if I'm not mistaken. And now some people can keep their dignity when they're having a cocktail. Look at Ilse here, my friend, for example. She can keep her dignity. But when you look at Emmanuel from Holland, well, some people get a little psycho after a cocktail. But they were very good and they were affordable. It was a nice treat. It was something else, something different. Another pleasant surprise, for example, was this one, the Belgian Owl Spirit Drink. Okay, it was diluted to 46%, but it was very pleasant indeed. Obviously, the largest brands are there, Glenfiddich, Balvenie, Highland Park, you name it, it's there. Lefroy, all the islands are represented, obviously. Many peat freaks were having a ball. And then there was Dr. David Wishart, who brought an ode to haggis. Yes, again, the sound quality is not what it should be. But then there was the Whisky Awards that were handed out, and I was very happy to find that my good friend Stefan de Bolle from Sinoco Group, who import Auchentoshen, Glengarry and Beaumont, there you have him, won the Whisky Ambassador of the Year award at the Belgian Whisky Awards 2012. Well done, Stefan, and well deserved indeed. Again, some older bottlings, some special bottlings, Kintra from Holland, for example. But the biggest fun part, of course, is being there with friends and meeting a lot of people like Dominique Brookard from Malts of Scotland and the Whisky Man, Bert Bruneel, Asta Morris, and of course, Ben Riach Connoisseur. Here's a friend I have lunch with often. And then Willy Minne in the fanciest suit I've ever seen him. But that's what it's all about, of people being together, enjoying themselves, sharing a dram and stories. That's what whiskey festivals are all about. But the biggest fun for me
was to be had at the Auchentoshan booth. Many people know that, and here's Gordon Dundas, the brand ambassador, he knows that I'm something of an Auchentoshan nut. So it was a bit of a surprise, a pleasant one, to get a beautiful gift from Auchentoshan, as well as securing for my own personal collection the Auchentoshan 40-year-old from 1965. That makes for a very pleasant ending of this Whisky Festival.